Hi friends, welcome back to our channel. In the last video we have discussed about how to declare the objects, how to declare a variable in an SAP ABAP, and how to do some kind of arithmetic operations. We have seen basic arithmetic operations, additions and subtractions. So in the today's session we will see, like for example, if you see here, we are giving the value in the code, but now my requirement is I just want to give my I just want to enter my values by the user. So if you see in the C language, we will use scanf statements in order to read the data from the outside by the user. So in the same way we will just see how to read data from the user in SAP ABAP. So now let me explain my requirement clearly. I will just open my paint. Now here, this is my program. After executing this program, I need to get a screen, or I need to get like a this is if we want to enter any value, we need to get something, right? So after executing this screen, we need to get the place in order to enter the values, like 10 just as 10 and as 20. So in SAP, the place where we enter the data or user enters the data is selection screen. So this is the screen, or this is the place where the user enters the data from the outside. Instead of declaring directly in the program, if we want to give separately, or if we want to give while runtime, we will just use this selection screen. Just as C language, we will use scanf statements. So in the same way, this is a place where the user can enter values. So after this, after giving these values, we need to see an output, right? That the output screen which we will get is this output screen will contain a value. For example, 30. It will contain 30 here. Now what my requirement is, let me clear everything and let me do it again. Click select all and delete. So something it is not working. Let me open my paint once again. Now this is my program. So after executing this program, what we will get? We will get a selection screen, or the place where the user can enter the values. So here the user has to enter A and B values, and whenever after entering this value, the user should be able to see the output. So what is the name of this place where we can enter the data is selection screen, and the output where we will say is an output screen. We can simply call it as an output screen. So here I'm just complicating my things, so I'm just keeping some kind of constraints as well. So what are they? My first constraint is, if you see, after getting this area, after getting this screen, by default my my two values has to store with 10 and 20. So it means I am saying by default it should display 10 in A, 20 in B. This is my first constraint, and coming to my second constraint, I am just adding one more constraint here. I am saying that all these two fields should be filled compulsory. So need to be filled. So my first constraint is, by default it should have some value. Now 10 in A, think this is an A and this is B. So here 10 should be there and here 20 should be there. And one more constraint is, two fields has to filled compulsory. It means, so the user should enter two values. He should not leave entering A and without entering B. So this is my requirement. So we'll create one more program and we will do this. So I'm just coming out. So if you see in our previous example, we have assigned the value in the program itself, but now this is not my requirement. I just need to assign after, like, outside the program by the user. So I'm just creating my third program, giving it myself, say my program 3, and title I'm just giving it as reading data by the user. I'm just clicking on, I'm adjusting the selecting type as an executable, same the package, and then local object. You see my object as creator. So now if you see, in the yesterday we have seen some kind of keywords in ABAP, like we have seen write keyword, which is used to print the data, same as printf in C. And one more data, this is in one more keyword which we have seen to declare the variables. So in the same way, we have one more variable in order to read the data, or in order to display this selection screen. That's my paint, yeah. So if you see, in order to get this screen, or in order to get this place to enter the data, we need to use a keyword. It is known as parameters to get selection screen. So we need to use this statement parameters in order to get our selection screen. So I'm just going to my ABAP editor, and here instead of data I'm just giving parameters. So here how many parameters we need to add? Two, right? Two values we need to add, one for A and one for B. The user has to enter data for two variables. So I'm just creating two parameters here now. So, and one more part, let me create, later we'll discuss it. I'm just giving some parameter A, name, and A. Type I. same thing, and the same thing as in the last video. If we are using multiple parameters, we need to give comma and colon. So and b type I stop. Now I have just written two statements, one for A and one for B using the keyword parameter. So I'm just saving my code. I'm trying to activate. So let me execute my program. So if you see, you got the screen to enter the data. So here if you see, you got two parameters, A and B. So here the user can enter the data. So after entering the data, when we click on execute, the output will come. So that we will see now. So you understand it? So we got our selection screen with the parameters keyword. So you got right. Why we use parameters keyword? Because in order to get our selection screen. Selection screen is nothing but it is a place where the user can enter the data. So now one more thing we need to keep in mind whenever we are doing any development in the project. So we need to maintain some standards, naming standards when we are creating some variables or in these kind of parameters. So we need to maintain some kind of standard. There are some kind of standard naming conventions which we need to follow. So here for parameters, the naming convention which the market will follow is it should start with p underscore, what is the name of variable? A. So again p underscore b. So this we can do, or we can go with simply a comma b, but we are using this because for standardization, because writing the code is also not important, but it should be understand to everyone. It should follow all the naming conventions which have specified by the SAP. So now what we have did, we have added p underscore before a and p underscore before b because we are following the naming standards. So now I'm just activating my code and then execute. Now if you see, you are getting p underscore b, p underscore a. Now 10, 30. Now user can enter. You can give whatever you want here, like instead of p underscore a, you can just give SAP underscore ABAP. I'm just given SAP underscore ABAP. Executed course. So if you see, you got SAP ABAP. So now what I will do is, instead of giving underscore here, I will just give @ here. I'm just going to activate my code. If you see, I got some kind of errors now. We'll check what is this. It is saying that the code @ character cannot appear in name. So it is saying that we cannot use this @ in the middle of names. So let me check. Let me go with this. Now I'm just going to activate. So it is activated. Now I'm going to execute it. If you see, you got this. So what we can understand here is, so there will be some constraints while you are declaring the parameter names or the variable names. So we need to take care of everything. So by default, just try to use underscore instead of using any kind of things. While you want to separate any two keywords or two words, use I'm just giving p underscore a as before. So now I got two parameters in the selection screen. So now if you see what is our requirement next, what is our requirements, we are saying the first constraint is we are saying by default it should display 10 in A and by default it should display 20 in B. Or doing instead of doing all these things, we'll just see the output what we can see. I'm just declaring one more variable just to display the data. C type I. Now P C equal to P underscore A plus P underscore P, right? C full stop. Now if you see, I'm just activating my code. I'm executing. Now I'm giving some value here, 10 tab. Here I'm just giving 20. I'm just executing my code. What we need to get? We need to get 30. If you see, we got 30. So what is happening actually? So it is taking the value from P underscore A. P underscore A is nothing but an like A in the selection screen, and P underscore B, which is a second field in the selection screen, and the value which entered by the user will be captured and set in this P underscore A and P underscore B respectively. So, and after completion of this sum, we are assigning to C and we are printing the C. So after entering, what is happening while executing the first thing, selection screen is displayed. I'm giving the value 10, 20, and I'm executing, try to executing, and we have got our output screen. And now if you see, I'm just clearing all these things. We have removed. Now I'm trying to execute my program. Let's see what we are going to get. So you got 0. So but according to my requirement, so what I'm saying, 2 fields are need to be filled by the user. So it is saying that user should not leave these values. So only once user enter all these details, then only user can execute this screen. So in order to achieve this, we are doing a simple, we are adding a simple keyword here. We are making it as an obligatory. So again I am writing so I have written one keyword here. I'm just saving it, activate, execute. Now if you see here, you got some kind of tick like icon, right? It means these fields are mandatory. So without filling these fields, you cannot enter, you cannot execute. So let me try. Well, once executing, it is saying that fill all the required entry fields. So now I'm just giving the 10 and I'm leaving empty in P underscore B. It is saying fill all the required fields. Now I'm just giving 0 here. No, instead of 0 I'm just giving 30, 20. So I'm trying to execute. So we got the output. Now I'm giving 0 here. What will happen? Let us see. Yeah, if you see, you got 10. So what we can understand from here is we should not leave this as blank. We need to fill something. So you can fill 0 or anything, but you should not leave this empty, because we have declared our P underscore A and P underscore B as obligatory. Obligatory is nothing but these parameters need to be filled without fail. So now coming to the second constraint, what we are saying is in the P underscore A and P underscore B, we need to display default values. So now after executing here, the user has to see 10 in the P underscore A and 20 in the P underscore B by default. So in order to achieve this, we have one more keyword called default, and we need to enter the number or the string or the character or the sentence what we need to display after default by default. So I'm just giving 20. Now let us check what will happen. So I'm just activating my code, execute. If you see, by default I got 10,20. So let me execute it. You got 30. If you want to change, you can change 50. You can see the output. So now if you see here in the screen, here you are saying p underscore a and p underscore p. It is good for ourselves. So whenever your program like whenever any other person or any other developer execute your program, he cannot understand what is pwa, p underscore a and p underscore p. It is not meaningful. So we need to give some kind of meaningful names here. But what SAP standard saying, our parameters should start with p underscore a always, and because we need to follow the naming convention, so we have given name as p, which is started with p. Now what we can do is, in order to make it understand to everyone, we need to give a right names. So I'm just going to text elements, go to text elements, text symbols. Instead of going selection text symbols and then selection text, if you see, you got some two fields, p underscore a and p underscore p. So it is saying p underscore a and then text is empty, which we can which is editable. So I'm just giving enter value for a. I'm just giving enter value for a, and for b enter value for b. So instead of now the user don't want to see this p underscore a, p underscore b, so just he wants to see a meaningful message. So I'm just adding this in text elements. I'm just activating once again. So activation is done. Go back and once again try to activate your code. Now we'll check what will happen after execute. I have executed. If you see now, we can see the clear message, enter value for a and enter value for p. So in this way, like we can do some, we can write some meaningful sentences. So let me show once again. So if we want to show meaningful sentences, we need to go to and then text elements, text symbols, selection text. Now I will take one more parameter and I just need to put comma, p underscore c, type I am giving it as a string. Instead of going with integer, I am going with string. Now I am going to save and then activate. Try to execute or try to activate your code in order instead of activating after completion of your code, just activate step by step. After completion of each step, try to activate it, because it is very easy to find the errors instead of finding it after completion of a program. So I have given some p underscore c. Now I will give some meaningful name here. You can go selection text directly. Here I'm just giving enter your name. I'm saying enter your name. I'm going to save again, activate, come back. I'm just executing my code, activate and then execute. If you see, by default 10 and 20 are occupied, and for enter your name, instead of entering, let me check, let me execute my code without any value in the enter your name field. I'm just executing. It is working. Why? Because, or if I remove 10 here, will it work? We'll check. No, it will not work. But if we give empty in this enter your name, it is working. Why? Because we haven't made this p underscore c as obligatory, and also it is not displaying any default value because we haven't added any default statement after the p underscore c. So I'm just activating again. So I'm just giving some random name here, Raghu. I'm trying to execute it. So now what my requirement is, it is displaying only 30 because I haven't written any write statement here for b_c. So let me write b_c, comma. Display errors. I have some errors. Let me check. The current syntax okay. So what here the issue is? The space. The space could be the issue. Let me check. Yeah, I'm trying to execute it. So I'm just giving Raghu as my name. If you see, you got Raghu. So now instead of displaying this Raghu in the same, now I'm giving Raju. I'm trying to execute. If you see, this Raju is displaying in the blue color or by default color. Now what the user wants is he wants to display this Raju in the different color. So let us check how we can do that. So if you see, we have seen in the last video, or if you want to check, there are many options. So in order to check what are the options present in the keyword, in order to get more information to the keyword, just go on F1, just click on F1, you will get all the options which are available and all the clear data. It is opening. Okay, there is some issue with the documentation maybe, or with my server. Display. Okay, let me open documentation once again. I don't know whether it will work or not because of some issue. Yeah, now it is working. If you see, you can see all the options. There are some plenty options are available. I'm just getting type options, like select options. If you see, obligatory we have used, and there is no display, visible length, checkbox and radio button. We'll see later. Now we have seen obligatory. Now we'll check what is no display. So here in no display it is saying the addition specifies no screen for the parameter. Okay, so we'll see this no display now. I'm just okay. So I'm just making no display here. I'm just adding no display here to this PWC, and I'm just no display. 1 second. I'm just trying to activate. So what it will do is, let us see. If you see, this enter your name is not visible. So what is the use of this no display? It makes sure that this parameter will not be available in the selection screen. Now we'll do one more thing. Now I have given this as an obligatory, right? Obligatory is nothing but the value should enter, the user should enter the value. So again I am saying that no display. Now I'm just saving my code, activate. So what I'm doing here is I'm saying to the system that this PWA should enter by the user. In the same way, I'm saying that no display. No display is nothing but it should not be visible in the selection screen. So let me try to activate. Select as this. Unable to interrupt no display. Is there any spelling mistake? No. let me wait 1 second. No. Let me write here. Okay. I'm writing now. Display. If you see, I'm just trying to activate my code again. I'm getting an error. What it is saying? The addition, obligatory and no display must not be used together. So what it is showing is like you have used obligatory. It means the value has to enter by the value must enter by the user. And again in the same way I'm saying no display. I'm saying that field should not be able to see in the selection screen. So it means it will not work out, right? I'm saying it should be entered by the user, and in the same way I'm saying it should not be visible in the selection screen. So that's why, remember, the obligatory and no display we cannot use it together. So that's why it will not work. So remember this, it is very important in the interview point of view. Now I'm trying to execute. Now it will work. So, and coming to the, so we have taken one scenario, right? After executing, the name has to appear in some other color. So now I'm just printing the, it is already there. So after that I'm just adding some other keyword. So we have added some obligatory to make mandatory and default for initial filling of the values. So in the same way there is some kind of, there is one more keyword in order to display this output in some colors. I'm just using this color keyword, and then I'm just giving some kind of code now. I'm just giving 6. Let us check what will happen. I'm just going to execute now. I am giving Raju now. I'm just executing. If you see, this Raju is appeared in some red color. So what is happening is in the SAP system there are some color codes which already predefined by the SAP. Let us check. Function F1. I'm just opening my documentation. Okay, I think my documentation is not working because of some kind of issues. So there are some certain codes. For example, I'll just go. I'm using 5 code. Now I'm just trying to execute, activate, and then execute. Giving some kind of name Raju. Now if you see, it is displaying in the green. It means if I use 6 here, we are getting the output in red color, and now we got in 5. So there are some certain color codes which already specified by the SAP. So using that color codes we can use, we can get our output in different colors. So it is saying only 7 colors are available, so we cannot use 10, so we can use only 2. I'm just using 2 now. Activate. You see, you got in different color. I think the same color, blue. Now let us check. Let us explore a few more options. Now I am using one more value, one more keyword called as intensified. So now let us see what will happen. So what has happened is, no, let's remove that color because we are unable to find. I'm just giving 6. So I'm just executing RAGHU. So what has happened is, if you see, the intensity of the output will increase. Like if you see, this is some kind of black, but here if you see, there is some intensity increased. So that is happened. There are some kind of keywords as well. We'll see one by one. Now we have seen color and intensified here. We will see one more keyword here in the right statement. I'm just using one more. There is one more keyword, inverse. So I'm just trying to execute. I'm just using inverse instead of intensified. Now let us check what will happen. I'm just going to execute now. I'm giving Raju here. Once again, I'm trying to execute. Now if you see, whenever we use this inverse, the letters, the color of letters are changed. But whenever we remove this inverse, what is happening? I'm just removing this inverse now. I'm just saving my code. Activate, execute, and again give some value. If you see, the color of letter is not changing. Only the background color is changing. So that is the difference. Whenever we use the inverse, the color of the letter will change. So in the same way, there are many keywords or many additions which we can add for the right. So just go through the documentation. I'm unable to open this documentation because of server issues. So just click on, just put your server in the put your cursor in the keyword and just click F1. Then you should be able to open keyword like documentation. Sorry, my documentation is already open. So if you see, you got plenty of options. Now if you see, now I'll go with input formats. It's now. So if you see, there are plenty of options. We have seen color, we have seen intensified, inverts. So there are many things. Just try to explore each and everything, so you will get the difference. So yeah, so that's it guys, that's it for today. We'll just continue our session in the next video. Thanks for watching.